Hello, welcome, and konnichiwa. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much for joining this presentation as we talk all about the iconic destination that is Japan. My name is David Craven, and I'm one of the key account managers here at Princess, and it is my absolute pleasure to guide you through this wonderful destination and why your clients will love cruising with Princess in this destination. Now, we have plenty of products available to book. We have plenty of sailings throughout 2025 as well into 2026. So if your clients are looking for something this year or next year, there is still plenty of opportunity, especially for 2025. Quite often you do hear people saying, I haven't got something locked in for this year. I want to go somewhere amazing. Is there anything available for 25? Japan is definitely available for 2025 and somewhere that you will absolutely adore. Now, when we're talking about Japan, we are there for most of the year and the weather can vary dramatically depending on when you are looking to cruise. So when you're there in March, April, expect those beautiful spring temperatures. And of course, that is when you're going to experience that cherry blossom as well as plum blossom, one of the most celebrated times to be in Japan. Going into May, would they then have a national celebration of Golden Week? It is definitely beginning to get an awful lot warmer, and then getting into July and August when we're celebrating those firework festivals. That is when it's going to be at its peak temperature. Expect around that 30-degree mark, but also the humidity is also quite high around this time as well. So if you've got those clients who aren't too good in the heat, stuff like that, you maybe want to avoid around that August period, because especially when you're getting on and off trains and things like that, it can definitely get quite humid and quite warm. One of my favorite times to be there, and one of the loveliest times to be there, is around that late September, October time, when you're getting the change of colors from that autumnal season. Truly, truly beautiful. And then as we get into November, obviously it's then getting into their winter, so it's getting to that cooler time of year. The ship, the Diamond Princess, which we'll talk about very shortly, will then migrate further south down to Singapore, where she'll be based until around February, before heading back up to Japan for the upcoming spring flower season. Now, the value of cruising cannot be underestimated in this region. When we're looking at a Princess cruise, the average interior price is about $290 a day. Now, that's your accommodation, it's your transport costs, it's your meals, it's your entertainment. It's all in one concise price. And if you were looking up towards our top suite categories, we're still only looking around that $1,000 a day, which is incredible value. When we're comparing that to things like coach touring and things like that, obviously you don't have the luxury of coming on board, unpacking once and simply waking up somewhere new every day. When we're using things like coaches and trains and all those different kind of things, maybe flights, you're constantly having to pack and unpack. It's definitely not as easy and as fluid as exploring Japan via the sea. And another thing to bear in mind with Japan is over 4,500 islands. So one more time, Japan is over 4,500 islands. What better way to see an island nation than by the sea? Now, also with Japan, before the Edo period, each part of Japan was a different kingdom. So what happened was the Edo period hit, Japan was unified in all of its kingdoms into one country, but it was also unified with its religion. So depending on where you go into Japan, the history and the culture is different. It varies, whether it's, Shintoism, Taoism, Buddhism, Christianity, all those different kind of things, the different cuisines, what they eat all the way up in Hokkaido is different to what they eat in Okinawa. Kyushu in those kind of Shikoku islands is much more noodle based, whereas the island of Honshu is much more rice based. So by doing a cruise and seeing more of this amazing country, you're going to get the benefits of exploring everything that Japan has to offer. And of course, it offers great value. Now, when we're talking about cruising, Princess has you covered. We really do. We have 52 departures available in 2025 and 50 departures in 2026, covering everything from the very northernmost island of Hokkaido all the way down to Ishigaki, which is just off the coast of Taiwan. Now, something else that kind of works in our benefit is there's a rule that Japan has where if a ship isn't registered in Japan, you have to visit an international port. So with our cruises, we're going to get you into places in Korea like Jeju and Busan. I love Busan. Amazing city in Korea. When we're going down to those southern islands, we can get you into Keelung. So we're not only exploring the amazing country of Japan, we're going to visit some of those more kind of more difficult to get to places. Taiwan isn't the easiest. It may not be on everyone's bucket list, but when you go there, you're going to fall in love with these destinations. It's just amazing. Now, something else to bear in mind is with our Japan program, every single itinerary is kind of different. It's unlike, say, our New Zealand itineraries, which pretty much will be quite consistent, visiting the South Island, North Island, South Island, North Island, visiting similar ports of call. Japan is very, very different. So each of the itineraries varies quite dramatically, actually. So make sure you're looking at the itineraries throughout the year to make sure that you're visiting the destination that you really want to. And of course, the itineraries changed so that we can visit those destinations when they're celebrating festivals. So we want to go into Aomori to see those amazing firework festivals that you'll get in August. So it will obviously vary. Each of the itineraries will vary depending on what's going on throughout the year. And of course, we offer a cruise tour, which I'll mention towards the end of this presentation. Now here she is, our beautiful Diamond Princess, which is the Japanese ship. Now she was not only purpose built for Japan, she was actually built in Japan. So she has Mitsubishi engines and she is the ideal ship for this region. She's going to immerse you in the destination. It actually has the world's largest Itsumi bathhouse available at sea, which is the most amazing way to get on board and relax. You're going to be quite busy in these ports of call, visiting different temples, and there's lots going on. You want to make sure you come back relaxed and rejuvenated, and that beautiful Itsumi bathhouse is the ultimate way to do it. We of course have a sanctuary, which is our adults only retreat, the conservatory, which is an indoor pool. This actually has a retractable roof, so if it's really, really warm outside, we can open it up and get some fresh air in. But of course, if it's inclement weather or not too warm, we can close that up and you can still go for a dunk, go for a swim inside that beautiful conservatory pool. Expect everything that you would from Princess. We've got your Lotus Spa, we've got a fitness center. Expect that comfy Princess luxury bed. We've got the movies under the stars, but we're going to immerse you in this destination with its cuisine as well. Now on board the Diamond Princess, we have our Kai Sushi Japanese dining, which is a fantastic spot for that beautiful sushi. And of course, on board the Diamond Princess, it is the only ship to feature our churrascaria, which is a Brazilian barbecue experience. Now, some of you may be going, why on earth do you have Brazilian barbecue on board a Japanese-focused ship? Sao Paulo is the largest population of Japanese people outside of Japan. So there is definitely a strong link between Brazil and the Japanese population, but also who doesn't love a Brazilian barbecue? Make sure you bring your stretchy pants because there is an awful lot of food that you will enjoy. Now, whilst you will be immersed in all sorts of cultural activities, expect all those things that you kind of entertainment offerings that you would from Princess. So we've got those Broadway style shows, we've got trivias and bingos and karaoke's and things like that. But because it is a very immersive experience, there will be two cruise directors, one speaking Japanese and one speaking English. When you're reading the daily patter, you will see that there are English speaking activities as well as Japanese ones as well. So it is a truly immersive experience, which is what you want when you're in such a wonderful destination. Of course, everything is underpinned by our amazing MedallionClass technology. Anybody who has experienced the Medallion will know just how good it is. It's this little thing wrapped around my neck here. This is your personal concierge whilst on board. If you want to order drinks and food wherever you are on the ship, order it through your app and we'll bring it to you. It's all about empowering our crew to deliver the finest service to you. Make sure that you are doing what you want to do. It is your holiday. Please just let us look after you. It is absolutely amazing. And everybody who has experienced it is now choosing Princess as their holiday, not even necessarily their cruise choice. They're literally choosing Princess primarily based on the Medallion experience. It really is fantastic. And just make sure that you are having everything that you want at your fingertips. Now, one thing I will mention is whilst cruising in Japan, because it is not based in our local waters, the currency on board will be US dollars. Now, what you can do to avoid the exchange rate is secure Princess Plus or Princess Premier in Australian dollars. Princess Plus, $65 Australian per person per day. And as you can see there, it's including all of those things like Wi-Fi, like the Plus beverage package. You've got all of your Ocean now included in there. Your fitness classes, absolutely everything is included. And for only $35 more, you can get Princess Premier. So this is $100 per person per day. This is the ultimate in terms of all-inclusive experience. So this is unlimited everything, really. Unlimited desserts, classes, juice bar, unlimited specialty dining, unlimited casualty dining. There's no cap on how many alcoholic beverages you can have. It is literally the ultimate in terms of an all-inclusive experience. Now, like I mentioned, at the moment, the exchange rate between Australian dollars and US dollars is definitely not in our favor. It's basically 2-1. So if you have clients who say things like, look, I only have one glass of wine a day. Okay. At the moment, with that exchange rate, this is kind of how it works. $20 for a glass of wine. You actually get a service fee added onto any drinks that you order ad hoc. So it's 20%. So $20 is actually $24, but that's closer to 50 Australian dollars. For $65, you can have your Wi-Fi, you can have some casual dining, you can have up to 15 alcoholic beverages, plus unlimited juices, unlimited water, your barista-style coffees, your specialties. It is such good value. And what it does, it removes any issues around that exchange rate. And we know that people with Plus and Premier have a kind of better experience because they're not having to think about things, they're not having to worry about things. It's all about best value. That's what it's all about. And Plus and Premier is by far the best value offering in the industry. And with this current exchange rate, this is going to offer the best value to your clients. Now, the gorgeous Diamond Princess has an accommodation to suit all tastes, requirements, and budgets. There are up to, just shy of 1,350 staterooms on board. Everything from interiors, ocean views, all the way up to our grand suites. Now, the Diamond Princess also does have 2 suites, which are called our S8 suites. These basically, it's a configuration which can allow up to 8 guests to stay in this suite. Okay, so it's 2 bathrooms, up to 8. Now, you can't actually book this in Polar online. You have to call our reservations team because Polar only allows up to 5 guests to be booked at any given time. There are only 2 on board. So if you do have those multi-generational cruises, grandparents, parents, and children, they all want to stay together, all want to be together, then that S8 suite type is definitely going to be a great option for them. But regardless of what people are chasing, there is literally everything to suit every budget and every requirement. There are plenty of accessible staterooms on board. If people are requiring those, make sure you are booking nice and early because there are, limited availability, just shy of 30 cabins available. So this is just a snapshot of some of the cabin types. So that down there on the bottom right is an interior. We've got an ocean view on the bottom left, up to your balcony on the top left, and then of course our beautiful suite up on the top right hand side. Now, our program throughout 25 and 26 is extensive and runs from February through till November. We have so many different itineraries. There's no way I can go through all of them. I've just highlighted a handful, but we have options anywhere from 7 nights all the way up to 28 nights. And like I said earlier, every single cruise is kind of different back to back. So the wonderful thing is, depending on how long people have got, what we can do. So for instance, if someone's got a 7-night cruise, but then the following cruise is 10 nights and they kind of want to do them both, you can actually book that as a 17-night option, and it's going to guarantee you to be in the same stateroom for that full 17 nights. Okay, so have a look when you found a cruise that kind of works. Have a look what's happening after your cruise and what's happening before, because you may be able to book it as a bigger, longer cruise, spending more time in this amazing destination. Now, as I mentioned earlier, because of that ruling in Japan, we're going to get you into places in Korea as well as Taiwan as well. We've got everything. We've got the Sea of Japan, we've got the Circle Japan and Japan Explorers, taken in the main island of Honshu. We've got the festivals, we've got Golden Week, we've of course got our Grand Japan with fall foliage, which is some of our longest itineraries. And there are so many different options to go through. Now, I've chosen these 4 here because these are some of our most popular itineraries. That sailing there in the top left-hand side is our Sea of Japan cruise. So this is taken in the main island of Honshu, getting all the way to the very top there in the port of call of Aomori, as well as heading through to Busan in South Korea, which is genuinely an incredible destination. And then on the return home, you can see here there is also a port in Nagasaki, very famous for the World War II events. Very somber port of call, but it's something that kind of sticks with you for a long, long time. Around that spring flower season, we have this beautiful itinerary heading out in April of 2026, which is the 10-night Hokkaido spring flowers. Now, the spring flowers are ubiquitous throughout all of the islands, but by getting all the way up into the northern parts of Otaru, as well as Kushiro, you're going to get the full extent of just how beautiful the spring flower season is. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can do longer cruises, which are ultimately 2 cruises back to back. So this option here on the top right hand side is a Kyushu as well as Korean cruise. So this is a 16-night option taking in the islands of Shimizu, which is the gateway through to see Mount Fuji. We've got the port of call of Kochi, as well as Nagasaki and Busan. Then that second cruise is going to get you down into some of the more difficult destinations to visit. We're getting into Keelung and Hualien in Taiwan, some amazing ports of call. Keelung is superb, I love there. But then we're getting into Ishigaki and Okinawa. So these islands are very, very difficult to get into. Pretty much without, getting there via cruise ship with us, you're going to have to fly. It's far more difficult. It's not easy. There's limited flights that they have getting into Okinawa, and they are some of the most beautiful places you've ever seen. Pristine waters. The oldest population on planet Earth, the average age is over 100 in Okinawa, and that's because of how fresh the food is, how pure the water is, and how active everyone is. So something like the 16-night cruise, you are genuinely going to see the full diversity that Japan has to offer. This option here on the bottom right hand side is a 20-night option, taking in the amazing Nobuta Kumano firework festivals throughout their summer. This is going to be departing in August. So if you've got that 3 weeks, you can see just how port intensive this truly is. You're really getting to see so many great destinations and getting that full array of cuisine as well. Those more southern islands of Kyushu and Shikoku, that's kind of more ramen destinations, whereas the main island of Honshu is much more rice-based. So these are just a sample of some of the sailings that we have to offer. For the best kind of resource to look at all the different sailings that are on offer, head to OneSource, Sales and Marketing, the destinations resource. You can see every single cruise that we have to offer for 25 as well as 2026. That is a great resource for you. Now, of course, people who are going to Japan will definitely want to do the bullet train. It's iconic. Now, you can actually include the bullet train experience as one of our cruise tours, okay? So this is going to get you into the ancient capital city of Kyoto, Osaka, as well as Nara. Then we're going to get you on that bullet train all the way to Tokyo. Now, this kind of rail portion combines with a number of different cruise options. Again, probably the best resource to learn more about this is going to be in OneSource, that destination marketing tools. Have a look at the array of cruises which combine with this. One is this cruise down here on the bottom right hand side, which is going all the way up to Hokkaido, as well as dipping into the beautiful island of Jeju in Korea. Now, there are 5 different cruise options to choose from, so make sure you're kind of highlighting the best cruise for your client. Now, when we're cruising in Japan, it's all about making sure we're getting the best experience when visiting these ports of call. And probably the best way to do that is utilizing our short excursions. Now, with some ports of call, they are actually quite a far way, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour from the actual main attraction. Okay, so if you weren't taking a short excursion and looking to do it your own way, it's a long way to go. And one thing I will mention, having done a cruise around Japan, the Japanese are the warmest, kindest, most beautiful people ever, but there isn't that many people that actually are English speaking. So one thing I would recommend is getting an English speaking guide with one of our short excursions. And we've got everything covered. If you're wanting city tours, if you're wanting a relaxing garden tour, if you want to go to the temples and the shrines and the ancient sites, if you want war history, if you want to go to the beautiful beaches located throughout Japan, if you want cultural festivals, or if it's all about that fantastic cuisine, we have something for everyone. If you're wanting to get an idea of some of the short excursions that are available, if you head to princess.com, then what you can do under Plan a Cruise, you can actually click on the short excursion tab, and this will let you know an array of short excursion offerings, each broken down by port of call. So let's simply say Japan, which port we're going to be in. We're going to be in Aomori. Okay, what do you have available? And it'll also give you some guide pricing as well. So remember, when you're doing a short excursion through Princess, if you were to have an unfortunate circumstance, the coach has broken down en route back to the ship and you're going to be a little bit late, the benefit of booking through us is we already know we can wait for you. If you're doing this independently, we don't know, we're going to leave without you. So it's all about that reassurance for guests who are booking through us to know that we're going to wait for you to make sure you make it safely back to the ship. And of course, we also offer easy air. So I know that so many travel agents, you'll have fantastic rates through airlines. You've got that amazing relationship. But if guests are wanting to book, flights that are arriving the day of departure, they want to be leaving the day of disembarkation, things like that, you get that protection through Easy Air. So if the flight is cancelled, then we're already going to be rebooking them onto a new flight to make sure they're getting there on time. Our team manage all that, so it's less issues. You don't need to be reissuing the ticket and all that different kind of stuff. If there's been really inclement weather here in Australia, they're going to miss, the embarkation. We have that first port guarantee, so that we guarantee to get them to that first port, of course, so they're not going to miss too much of their itinerary. It's extremely flexible. If people are picky over the airline that they'd like to fly with, that's fine. We've got an array of different airlines that we offer. If they want first class, business class, premium economy, they are all available through Easy Air. So it's a fantastic service available at your fingertips. If you want to learn more, make sure you're doing those modules in the academy to learn just how easy this system is. It is a fantastic system, and I don't think enough people utilize it personally, but of course, if you've got those better rates available, I fully understand. Now, with that, I will thank you so much for joining this presentation all about this iconic destination of Japan. It's somewhere that I completely fell in love with, and I know that you and your clients will too. If you have any questions, reach out to your sales managers. All their details are available in OneSource, and I cannot wait to welcome you and your clients on board the Diamond Princess sailing in Japan. Thank you.